Good morning. I'd like to call Finance, Ways, and Means Committee to order on time at our new revised time of 9:15 for April 26, 2021. Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Representatives Campbell, Camper, Crawford, Faison, Freeman, Gantz, Garrett, Gillespie, Hawk, Hicks, Lamar, Lamberth, Lynn, Miller, Ogles, Sexton, Shaw, Sparks, Todd, Whitson, Williams, Wendell, Zachary, Vice Chairman Baum, Chairman Hazelwood. Madam Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Are there any personal orders or announcements? Seeing none. We have 58 bills on our calendar today, but members just know for the purpose of this meeting, we're only going to consider those bills that are time sensitive, and those are items 1 through 31. So if you are here for a bill that's calendared post after 31, then sorry for your trouble, but we'll see you again on Wednesday. With that said, we'll begin. Item number 1 on our calendar is House Bill 55 by Leader Lamberth. Leader Lamberth, you're recognized. We have a motion and a second. Leader Lamberth, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I stand ready for questions. This is a bill we discussed last year, and unfortunately, due to COVID, we're unable to pass. I stand ready for questions.
Any questions? Seeing none. We're ready to vote on House Bill 55. Moving on to calendar and rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
you,
House
Madam
Bill
Chairman.
55 moves on. Item number 2 on our calendar is House Bill 750 by Chairman Boyd. Chairman Boyd, you have a motion and a second. You're recognized to tell us about your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. House Bill 750 will create a chronic weight management task force to study the health implications of chronic weight management and type 2 diabetes. Madam Chairman, I'll take any questions.
Are there questions for the sponsor? The question has been called. Any objections? Seeing none. We're voting on House Bill 750. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 750 moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Committee.
Item number 3 on our calendar, House Bill 679. Chairman Carr, you have a motion and a second. You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. This is the BUI bill. It makes the penalties for boating under the influence the same as driving under the influence.
I agree. That's a very good bill. We have a Leader Lamberth question.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just want to highlight that if you wanted to sign under this bill, this is one of those bills that I think sometimes flies through pretty quickly. I really, really appreciate the sponsor, Chairman. Thank you for bringing this bill. It's been brought by others in years past unsuccessfully, but it is a massive issue. If somebody's driving under the influence in a boat, the penalty is a smack on the wrist right now. This will really make a difference out there. So I just want to pause for a half a second. Anybody that wanted to sign on to this bill, I think it'd be well worth your time to take a look at it and support this piece of legislation. Thank you, Chairman, for bringing it.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, we're voting on House Bill number 679. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 679 moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman and committee.
Next on our calendar is House Bill 1365. It's by Chairman Carter, presented by Representative Smith. Representative Smith, you have a motion and a second.
Thank you, Madam Chairman and committee. This is a cleanup bill that permits self-insured municipalities, cities, counties, and local school boards to attach the right of reimbursement and subrogation to their insurance policies, just like larger businesses do. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Right. Thank you. The question has been called. I would just comment that Chairman Carter has worked on this for quite some time. It's important for Representative Smith and Mineham counties and probably for other larger counties as well. So we are voting on House Bill 1365. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? House Bill 1365 moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman.
Number 5 on our calendar, House Bill 854 by Chairman Helton. We have a motion and a second. Chairman Helton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill was brought by the Tennessee Assessors Association, and it does two things. It adds 2 weeks to the deadline for filing Greenbelt applications, and it deletes a prohibition for refunding rollback taxes when it is imposed in error by the buyer or seller at the time of the sale.
Are there questions for Chairman Helton? Question has been called. All those in favor of House Bill 854, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill
Thank you.
854 moves on to calendar and rules. Item number 6 on our calendar is House Bill 124 by Chairman Howell. Chairman Howell, you have a motion and a second. You are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the Transportation Omnibus Bill, which provides for the naming of various roads and bridges across the state of Tennessee. There are 56 namings, and these are brought to me, to the Omnibus Bill, of course, by various members of the legislature.
Are there any questions for the chairman? Question has been called. All those in favor of House Bill 124, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 124 moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you,
Chairman
Madam Chair.
Howell, you are recognized on House Bill 534. We have a motion and second.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This bill amends TCA code to allow a court to hold a juvenile for psychological evaluation when an investigation determines that that juvenile has made a credible threat against their school or fellow students.
You've heard the explanation. Are there questions? Seeing none. I would just say, Chairman Howell, I think this is another good bill, and thank you for bringing
Madam
it
Chair.
before us. All those in favor, please signify by, of House Bill 534, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 534 moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you very much.
Next on our agenda is item number 8, House Bill 341 by Chairman Littleton. We will roll her to the Hill. So next we have, we will roll the next one as well. And that brings us to patiently waiting, Chairman, or not so patiently waiting, Chairman Powers, House Bill 540. We have a motion and a second. Chairman Powers, you're recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Committee.
And we do have a Finance Subcommittee amendment. The drafting code I'm showing is 006467.
That's correct.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the amendment 6467, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The amendment is attached. Chairman, would you please explain the bill as amended?
Thank you, Madam Chair and Committee. House Bill 540 just removes the minimum enrollment requirement of 1,000 students to be considered for interstate signage for our community colleges. It puts our community colleges on a level playing field with the TCATs, which have no minimum requirement. Current statute and the TBR rules require a community college to be within 19 miles of an interchange, and this bill would just simply limit to Roane State Community College in Campbell County. And with that, Madam Chairman, I renew my motion.
Chairman Powers has explained the bill. Are there questions? Seeing none, we are voting on House Bill 540 as amended. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? House Bill 540 moves on to calendar and rules.
Yeah, Morgan County might be eligible. It's real close. You do it next. Thank you, Madam Chair, Committee.
So we're on 11 by Reagan. We are now on item number 11 on our calendar. That's House Bill 729 by Chairman Reagan. Chairman Reagan, you're recognized. We have a motion. We have a second.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The bill before you simply adds the Tennessee Public Utility Commissioner or a designee as an ex officio voting member of the State Energy Policy Council. You may remember we put this council in effect several years ago. It has a white paper due this summer on the economic impact of electric vehicles.
You've heard the explanation. Are there questions for the chairman? Seeing none, we're voting on House Bill 729. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 729 moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chair, Lady, and Committee.
Chairman Littleton has joined us, so we're going to go back to item 8 on the calendar, House Bill 341. We have a motion and a second. Chairman Littleton, you're recognized.
Thank you, Lady Chairman and Committee. This bill was brought to me by the TBI Human Trafficking Advisory Council. It says, under present law, the Tennessee Standardized Treatment Program for Sex Offenders requires that the sex offender submit to an evaluation for treatment developed by the Sex Offender Treatment Board. And this adds trafficking for commercial act, patronizing prostitution from a person who is younger than 18 years of age or has intellectual disability, promoting the prostitution of a minor, criminal attempt, conspiracy, or solicitation to commit any of the above offenses.
Heard the chairman's explanation. Are there questions? Seeing none, we're voting on House Bill 341. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Chairman Littleton, your bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Lady Chair and Committee.
That brings us to item number 12, House Bill 881 by Chairman Terry. Chairman Terry, you have a motion and a second.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. This bill is designed to help protect the right to peacefully protest for Tennesseans by cutting down on bad actors that may escalate an otherwise peaceful protest into a riot. It does that by expanding the offense of aggravated rioting to include those that have been compensated to riot or come in from out of state with the intent to create a criminal offense, and it increases the mandatory minimum sentence for aggravated rioting if they commit 2 or more of those offenses.
You've heard the explanation. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we're voting on House Bill 8. Leader Camper?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Sponsor. You said this was only for out-of-towners coming in to riot?
No.
Could you restate that?
Yes. If somebody travels from out of state with the intent to create a criminal offense, or if they participate in a riot in exchange for compensation. Currently, aggravated rioting is as a result of the riot, a person other than one participant suffers bodily injury or substantial property damage occurs. This would add those 2 things if they're paid to riot or come in from out of state to create a criminal offense.
Representative Sparks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Dr. Terry, for this piece of legislation. Would the people that were at my house 2 years ago at 4 a.m. protesting, would they still be allowed to protest and come in from out of state?
Chairman Terry?
Again, they would have to come in and have an intent to create or commit a criminal offense. So if their intent is to cause property damage or, throw rocks, break your window.
Wake neighbors up, that sort of thing.
With an intent.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Representative Shaw?
Thank you for the legislation, but how would, I guess I'm just interested to know how will you prove it?
Chairman Terry?
Thank you, Chairman. Obviously, we have detectives here that have a lot of skills in what they can and can find out. A lot of people may post stuff on social media. If somebody comes in and they're rioting and they have for instance, a Louisville Slugger, they can potentially trace that back to being bought the week before they come in for the riot.
Any further questions of the sponsor? Seeing none, we're voting on House Bill 881. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 881 moves on to calendar and rules. Thank you, Chairman Terry.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee.
And now for our entertainment of the morning, we have item number 13, House Bill 442 by Chairman Bond. We're easily entertained at this point in the session. We have a motion and a second.
This bill simply allows members of the military from Tennessee who are killed in active duty or on training missions to have the ability to be buried in our state veteran cemeteries on the weekends. Prior to this bill, that was at the discretion of the commissioner, and you would think that that would be an easy decision for commissioners to make, but however, I think poor decision-making may have been the hallmark of our previous veterans commissioners, so it has led to us codifying this intent.
And Chairman Bond, I certainly in no way meant to make light of this bill. I really hadn't looked ahead to see what this legislation was about. This is something that I think a large number of us were very upset about. And I thank you for making sure that another family won't have to go through the situation that the family in Memphis had to. We would pray that we would never have another situation like that to arise. But if so, I think it's important that we make sure that we treat those veterans and their families with all the respect possible. And this bill will make sure that happens. So thank you for bringing it.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there questions? Chairman Williams.
Thank you, Chair Lady. I just wanted to echo the Chair Lady's comments. I wanted to thank the sponsor for this. We're going to spend $42 million through this, $42 billion through this committee the next couple of days. And this $500 probably is one of the most important to the state. And we want to say thank you to the families who have sacrificed so much to our communities. And I want to thank the sponsor for his hard work on this, and also Colonel Whitson, because I know that he is very passionate about this as well. I know the Chair Lady and the Chairman of Finance Sub and I have all signed on to this because this is something that's really important to us as well. And so we trust that the other members will do that as well. Thank you.
I'm hopeful that the Joseph family will be joining us whenever we get this across the finish line.
We would be honored if that could occur. So with no further questions or comments, we're voting on House Bill 442. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Like the record to show, it was a unanimous vote, please. All those, House Bill 442 moves on to calendar and rules. Thank you, Chairman Bond.
Thanks, and thank this committee for getting up at the crack of dawn and serving the great state of Tennessee. You all should get a bonus.
There's an amendment on the budget to that effect. Item number 14 on our calendar is by Representative Campbell. Representative Campbell, at your seat.
Thank you, Madam Chairman and members. This authorizes the Tennessee Department of Transportation to install and erect signs along a state highway for the Doe Mountain Recreation Area. For those of you who love the outdoors, this is over 8,600 acres of mountain terrain and trails, perfect for wilderness adventures, including off-highway vehicles and side-by-sides. Thank you.
You've heard the explanation. We have a motion on the bill, and I'm sure all of those folks with recreational vehicles and interest in this type of thing across the state will be grateful for your vote. All those in favor of House Bill 57, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 57 moves on to calendar and rules. Next on our agenda, item number 15, House Bill 1230 by Representative Sherrill. We have a motion and a second. Representative Sherrill, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman and members. This bill will hopefully help some of our folks out here in this great state of Tennessee that's suffering from amputation, about 75% or more of their lower limb, and this will help them to obtain a permanent sports combination of hunting fishing license for a one-time payment of $10.
You've heard the explanation. Questions? Question has been called on the bill. We're voting on House Bill 1230 Moving on to calendar and rules, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Representative Cheryl, your bill moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman and members.
Item number 16, House Bill 1276 by Representative Griffey. We have a motion and a second. Representative Griffey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair Lady, and members of the committee. House Bill 1276 is amended by amendment number 7004, which simply add a watermark security to the paper absentee ballots for our ballot systems and votings.
All right. You've heard the sponsor's explanation. Leader Lambert.
Madam Chairman, I just wanted to double check with the sponsor of the bill and see if he wanted a roll call vote or not. It doesn't look like he does, Madam Chairman. That's a first.
Out of order. Leader Camper, I believe you had a question.
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to thank you, Mr. Sponsor. Did the amendment rewrite the bill? Or
Yes.
did it just add to? Okay, thank you,
It
ma'am.
completely rewrites it. And all it does
And
will
all-
add watermarks security to the paper ballots of absentee ballots, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, are there any further questions? Seeing none. Please vote on House Bill 1276. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Representative Griffey, this bill moves on, and if you would maintain your place at the podium, please. We're going back to item 9. So I believe you're signed on to the bill that House Bill 530 that Chairman Moody is the prime sponsor on. If you could present that bill for us. We do have a motion and a second, so you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair Lady and members of the committee. House Bill 530 seeks to establish a reward for information leading to the arrest of a person responsible for the shooting of a law enforcement officer in the line of duty. It sets the reward at $10,000 if the officer is injured in the shooting or $20,000 if the officer is killed in the shooting.
You've heard that explanation, and I'm sure all of us hope that those rewards are
highly appropriate.
Never taken advantage of, because that would be a tragedy. Leader Gant.
Does this pertain to all first responders or just law enforcement?
Representative Griffey.
It's my understanding, it's written, it says law enforcement.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman.
Further questions? Seeing none. All those in favor of House Bill 530, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Representative Griffey, let the record show you did an admirable job for Chairman Moody.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair Lady and members of the committee. Thank you.
We are now on item 17, House Bill 322 by Representative Hodges. We have a motion and a second. Representative Hodges, you're recognized on your bill.
So this bill will allow any veteran with 100% service-connected disability to get a 50% discount at our state parks. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Are there questions of the sponsor? Question has been called. All those in favor of House Bill 322, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 322 moves on to calendar and rules. Thank you, Representative Hodges.
Thank you, Chair Lady.
Next on our calendar is item number 18, House Bill 455. Representative Thompson, you have a motion and a second. You are recognized on your bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a bill that will include Tennessee in the Psychology Interjurisdictional Compact, or SIPACT, to join right now 17 other states and 14 others that have pending legislation. This will increase public access to professional psychological services by allowing telepsychological practice across state lines, as well as temporary in-person face-to-face services into a state that the psychologist is not licensed to practice psychology, and has several other advantages and enhancements to the psychological practice. And I'll happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions of the sponsor? I would comment, I sat in at a legislative conference a couple of years ago on this issue, and I think there are good reasons to do it, and thank you for bringing the bill and bringing Tennessee into that compact.
you.
All those in favor of House Bill 455, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill
Thank you, Madam Chair.
455 moves on. Next on our calendar, we have Representative Towns. Representative Towns, you have a motion and a second. You're recognized on House Bill 1497.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, what this bill is, a fireworks bill, and what it simply seeks to do, it makes some changes that will allow fireworks, when we're presenting those fireworks in our communities, to be a lot safer. It's going to require a little bit additional training, as well as a little bit more protection, so there won't be any mistakes as there have been in the pyrotechnic industry. In essence, that's really what it does. It's making it safer for us to demonstrate.
All right, you've heard the questions about this. You've heard the explanation, I'm sorry, about this firecracker of a bill. And are there any? Question has been called. It's the best I could come up with. It's
I'm
early
with
on
you,
Monday.
Madam Chair. I'm with you.
You're voting on House Bill 1497. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? House Bill 1497 moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members.
Next on our agenda, House Bill 1540 by Representative Weaver. We have a motion and a second. Representative Weaver, let us understand what your bill does.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Lady. Thank you, members. Good morning, Monday. This bill authorizes any member of the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System to obtain credible services for previous participation in a local government's retirement system. It's permissible, and it is also, in the amendment, added utility districts. That's what it does.
The question has been called. Any objections? Seeing none, we're voting on House Bill 1540. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 1540 moves on to calendar and rules.
And thank you.
Thank you for being with us bright and early on a Monday. House Bill 1211, Chairman Baum, you're recognized.
Motion.
We have a motion and a second.
Thank you, Madam Chair. More and more people are buying packages online, and they don't like it when these packages are stolen from their front porches. And so this bill increases the penalties for those kinds of thefts. It doesn't increase the penalty on a first offense, but on a second offense, the bill says that the minimum penalty must be as a Class E felony.
Question has been called. Seeing any objection? Seeing no objection, we're voting on House Bill 1211. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, and House Bill 1211 moves on to calendar and rules. Thank you, Chairman Baum. Number 22 on our calendar is by Representative Freeman. Representative Freeman, from your seat, we have a motion and we have a second. You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Committee. This bill creates an electronic tracking system for rape kits so that victims of rape and sexual abuse can track their kits. It also shortens some of the timelines of the evidence transfer and creates some victim rights. With that, I stand ready to answer any questions.
Question has been called. Any objections? Seeing none, we're voting on House Bill 39. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 39 moves on to calendar and rules.
Motion.
Next, House Bill 516 by Leader Gant. You have a premature motion, but it's a motion and a second.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This legislation establishes that a legal service plans entered into by a person and certain intermediary organizations are not considered legal insurance under the Tennessee Legal Insurance Act.
Is there anyone who would like to question that? Seeing none, we are voting on House Bill 516 by Leader Gant. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 516 moves on to calendar and rules. Next on our agenda is House Bill 1010 by Chairman Hicks. Chairman Hicks, you are recognized. We have a motion and a second.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Chair Lady and members, House Bill 1010 provides the following. The State Treasurer, with the approval of the Board of Claims, is authorized to establish a captive insurance company for the purpose of insuring the state's potential losses, exposure, and risks.
Question on the bill.
Question has been called. Any objections? Seeing none, we're voting on House Bill 1010. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone who dares to oppose the subcommittee chair? Seeing none. The ayes have it. House Bill 1010 moves on to calendar and rules. Chairman Hicks, you have the next item on our calendar, House Bill 1150.
Thank you, Chair Lady. And I was going to say I've got two more to go, so I hope nobody takes you up on that. House Bill 1150. This bill modernizes the Helping Heroes Act by allowing TSAC the latitude to add recent and future campaign designations through rule rather than statute. It also removes a provision that limits the scope of the Helping Heroes program.
Question has been called. Seeing no objection, we're voting on House Bill 1150. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 1150 moves on. And Chairman Hicks, we have you now next for item number 26, House Bill 1437.
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. We do have an amendment, I believe, on this bill, Chairman Hicks.
Motion. Second.
The amendment is 5659.
That's correct.
Question on the amendment.
Question has been called on the amendment. Seeing no objection, we're voting on drafting code amendment 005659. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment is attached. Chairman Hicks, you're recognized on the amendment and the bill.
Thank you, Chair Lady, and the amendment does make the bill, members. House Bill 1437 is the result of negotiations between the administration and representation of the Tennessee Titans. This bill will allow state sales tax collections as generated at the stadium to go towards stadium renovations.
Question on the bill.
Question has been called. Any objection? Seeing none, we're voting on House Bill 1437 as amended. Moving on to calendar and rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Chairman Hicks, you batted 100%. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chair Lady and members.
Chairman Williams, you're recognized next on House Bill 488. We have a motion and a second. Chairman Williams, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman members. This bill would allow for surplus radios to be transferred to distressed counties first and then to other counties that might need them. That I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there questions? I would note that in the governor's budget, there is funding for radios and associated equipment for the state that will free up some of these radios that can be reutilized by our distressed counties and others that need them. So without going through the surplus property process, which can be quite daunting. So we are voting on House Bill 488 without objection. Seeing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 488 is on to calendar and rules. Next on our agenda is item number 28, House Bill 202 by Chairman Wendell, who's been sort of patiently waiting. Chairman Wendell, you're recognized.
Again.
Madam Chairman, this bill would simply allow Tennessee Highway Patrol members to retire on parity with other state employees. I'd appreciate your consideration.
You've heard the explanation. We have multiple motions. We'll assume that some of those are seconds. Seeing no questions, we are voting on House Bill 202. Moving on to calendar and rules. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 202 moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda, our own Chairman Zachary, House Bill 150. I have a motion and a second.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, this bill is related to social hosting, is supported by MAD and Anheuser-Busch, and it simply changes the word underage to minor to encompass everyone under 21. With that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Are there questions? Seeing none, we're voting on House Bill 150. All those in favor of House Bill 150, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 150 moves on to calendar and rules. I assume it will have a happy home there.
Yes, ma'am. We feel good about it there. Thank you.
Next is House Bill 1204, also by Chairman Zachary.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
We have a
Thank you,
motion and a
members.
second.
Members, this establishes the parameters allowing the Knox County County Commission and City Council to vote to move forward on the sports and entertainment complex in Knox County, which will include the stadium for the Knoxville Smokies. With that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
And we do have on this bill two amendments. Amendment 4642 is withdrawn. That leaves us with the second subcommittee amendment, which I show the drafting code on, is 007346. We have a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment is hereby attached. Chairman Zachary, is there further information on the bill as amended?
No, ma'am.
or
I stand ready for questions.
Are there questions for the chairman? Seeing none, we're voting on House Bill 1204. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. House Bill 1204 moves on to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Madam Chair and committee.
Okay, committee members, the last item on our calendar is number 31. It's House Bill 599 by Chair Lady Hazelwood. We have a motion and a second. Chair Lady Hazelwood, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill simply rectifies an inadvertent oversight. When Vanderbilt University and Vanderbilt Medical School were separated, the not-for-profit attachment for schools did not go with the medical school as expected. So this would clear up that situation.
You've heard the explanation. Are there any questions? Question's been called. We are voting on sending House Bill 599 to calendar and rules. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. 599 moves to calendar and rules.
Thank you, Chairman Baum. This does complete the portion of the calendar that we're going to be dealing with today. A reminder. Leader Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Before we finished up, and I apologize for interrupting, I just had an important announcement that I should have mentioned at the top of the calendar, but it is Representative Susan Lynn's birthday today. So I merely want to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Are there any further announcements or any additional business to come before the committee? If not, we have completed the portion of the calendar that we're going to be dealing with today. As I mentioned earlier, the remainder of the calendar will be considered on Wednesday following the Finance Subcommittee meeting, immediately following. So with no further business, we stand adjourned. We stand in recess.